All right. Actually, we have three types: compiler, interpreter, and assembler. These all three types are related to the compilation of a program. Actually, before starting these 3 points, you should know the concept of high level and low level language. I'm just summing up the points about high level and low level languages. I'm not going into the detail. Let's say that actually what happened, that initially when the in computer languages or computer programming is introduced, computer can only understand the low level language, right? Computer can understand only understand the low level language, like this is the binary language. Computer can only understand the binary language. Initially what happened, that obviously we have the low level languages, some low level language that are very difficult. After the low level languages, we got some somehow better language that could be understandable, is the assembly language. And then after the assembly language, we got the high level languages. What is the difference between high level languages and low level languages? Low level languages तो कौन सी थी, जो बाइनरी जो 0-1 की फॉर्म हमारी समझती थी. बाइनरी मतलब 0 और 1. दिस इज़ द लैंग्वेज दैट कंप्यूटर कैन ओनली अंडरस्टैंड. बट आफ्टर दिस लो लेवल लैंग्वेज वी गॉट द assembly language. Assembly language is actually based on registers, but it also use some English words, so that's why it could be more easy for the programmers to write code in the assembly language. But what happened, that computer can only understand 0-1 form, means binary form. So for assembler we have to translate the 0-1 this language into 0-1 और binary language. So assembly language में लिखना तो start कर दिया, but for this purpose जब उन्होंने assembly language introduce हुई, तो उसके साथ साथ we need a translator in between to translate this language into low level language, because computer can only understand the low level language. अच्छा, afterwards we got the high level language that are very easy for, especially for the programmers. So again we need some translator to translate and come back in the low level language, because computer can only understand this low level language, right? So when assembly language was introduced, the translator in between was the assembler. ठीक है, जो ट्रांसलेटर यूज़ हुआ बीच में वो था असेंबलर. व्हाट इज़ द मीनिंग ऑफ ट्रांसलेटर? फॉर एग्जांपल यू आर गोइंग सऊदी अरब, सो यू डोंट नो अबाउट अरबिक, सो ऑब्वियसली आपको अरबी समझने के लिए क्या चाहिए होगा? एक ट्रांसलेटर. अ ट्रांसलेटर हु कैन अंडरस्टैंड बोथ अरबिक एंड योर लैंग्वेज, उर्दू और इंग्लिश, वट एवर. सो a translator is a person who knows both the languages. So for the assembly language we need a translator, that is called as the assembler. And for the high level language we need a translator, that is actually a compiler or interpreter. ठीक है, तो now you can see compiler and interpreter both are used to actually what to do, to convert high level into low level. It is actually a translator for the programming languages that are written in the high level language. You can see the definition. A compiler is a program that translates, that is a translator that translate a high level computer language program into a मशीन लैंग्वेज प्रोग्राम. हाई लेवल को किस में कन्वर्ट करते हैं? मशीन लैंग्वेज प्रोग्राम है, और मशीन की लैंग्वेज कौन सी है? बाइनरी लैंग्वेज. ठीक है, सो उसके बाद अगर हम आते हैं इंटरप्रेटर पे, यू कैन सी द डेफिनेशन. एन इंटरप्रेटर इज़ अ प्रोग्राम दैट ट्रांसलेट वन स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अ हाई लेवल लैंग्वेज इनटू प्रोग्राम. ऑल राइट, सो बोथ आर फॉर द हाई लेवल लैंग्वेज. सो व्हाट इज़ द डिफरेंस बिटवीन compiler and interpreter? All right, so the difference between compiler and interpreter is that actually कंपाइलर व्हाट टू डू, कि हमने ये प्रोग्राम लिख लिया, ठीक है, 1 2 3 4, ये हमारी बहुत सारी लाइन्स ऑफ कोड लिखा हुआ है, ठीक है. what compiler do, it actually run the whole program, and in the end it give the output. क्या करेगा? हमें एंड में आउटपुट बताएगा. क्या आउटपुट बताएगा? कि हमारे पास ये आंसर आ गया. और राइट, इफ़ यू हैव एनी एरर, एक्चुअली एट द एंड इट लिस्ट डाउन द एरर्स ऑल्सो. ठीक है, इफ़ you have any error then it will not show any output, it will just give you the errors. But interpreter, what interpreter do, actually if these are the lines of code that I have given, or these are the instructions, तो अगर first instruction में आपकी कोई error है, it will stop here. एंड गिव द एरर दैट दिस इज़ द एरर, इसको आप करेक्ट करें। फिर सेकेंड लाइन ठीक है, उसको रीड करेगा, थर्ड को रीड करेगा, फोर्थ में एरर है, फिर वो वहीं रुक जाएगा। एक्चुअली इंटरप्रेटर क्या करता है, लाइन बाय लाइन रीड करता है, लाइन बाय लाइन, पहले फर्स्ट लाइन, फिर सेकेंड लाइन, फिर थर्ड लाइन, इट एक्चुअली रीड्स लाइन बाय लाइन, बट कंपाइलर एक्चुअली रीड्स whole program at a time and at the end give the output or give the errors if you have any error, then it will give in the at the end, right? So this is the difference between compiler and interpreter. Both actually, compiler and interpreter, both are used to actually as a translator for a high level language to the low level language, but compiler actually translate whole program at a time and interpreter translate one line at a time, line by line translation करता है. All right, the last one is the assembler. Now I already told you the converter or translator used to convert the assembly language, translate the assembly language in the low level language is actually a assembler. An assembler is a program that translates an assembly language program into a machine language. So assembly language को machine language में करने के लिए हम क्या use करते हैं, assembler use करते हैं. So these are three actually the also the types of system software. All right, now we have the application software. I have already discussed about the application software, but I don't discuss about the types of application software. So we have two different types of application softwares.